All students, good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss one lesson from your PUC second year, and that lesson is 2D. As you can see, I have given some of the information on the board. About the author. So before I carry you to the author, first we will see the meaning of 2D. Here, 2 means close, very close. Dear means familiar. But in general English, the dear meaning is the person who is very close to you. Here, in this context, the lesson's context, dear meaning is expensive. Dear meaning is costly. And to dear, this word, we also come across in the poem called Romeo and Juliet. The beauty is too dear for the earth. You might have heard this term in Romeo and Juliet. So, too dear meaning is here expensive, costly. So, what has become expensive or what has become costlier? According to the writer, we will see in the lesson. So, before we go ahead with the lesson, let's talk about the author. Brief introduction. I hope you understood the meaning of dear. So here, dear meaning is expensive or costly. About the author, this lesson is written by Leo Tolstoy. He is a well-known, famous Russian writer. He born in 1828 and died in 1910. Primarily, he wrote many novels and short stories. Among many, he is best known for 2 long novels. One is War and Peace and Anna Karenina. These 2 are his long novels where he got awards in literature for his writing. So, this is about the author. Now, let's talk about the story, what he is going to express us. Leo Tolstoy, a Russian writer, has scripted this lesson in a kingdom called Monaco. This is a small kingdom. He has scripted this lesson in a small kingdom called Monaco. And this kingdom, Monaco, is located near the border of France and Italy. This kingdom, Monaco kingdom, is located near the border of France and Italy. The way we have border here in Karnataka, especially this Bidar district, we have border of Maharashtra and then Telangana. In between, Bidar is. Similarly, Monaco is in the center of France and Italy, not even center, you would say at the border. And beside this, there is one Mediterranean Sea. According to your lesson, there is one Mediterranean Sea and it is given in the Europe map. In this kingdom, there are 7,000 population. The Monaco kingdom has 7,000 population, and to help the king, these are the supporters. Supporters like palace he has, courtiers he has, ministers, bishops, generals and army. Because to support the king, I have written here the king hand, because if any one territory, any one district, somebody will have to run it, they must have all the forces with them. If be the district, then DC. Under DC there are so many people we come across, like XYZ. So here, palace, courtiers, it means to run he has a palace. He has courtiers. Courtiers means the one who are available in his hand at his palace to help him all time. And the ministers a special time to take the decision to help the king. And also he has bishops. Bishops, like Christian, we say pastor or we say father. Or if you talk about Hindus, Hindu religion, they say sadhu, sant, saint, bishop. in the form of religioustic, the one who preaches, and we have generals. Generals, the one who is head of the army. Okay, and the army strength is 60 men. As you can see here, the army strength is 60. Then the kingdom or the king has taxes, because taxes are common in each and every country, especially a country like India. We have to pay taxes for everything. Whatever we purchase, we are paying tax in the form of money. Either it is a direct tax or indirect tax. So taxes. Taxes are for tobacco, taxes for wine, taxes for spirits, and taxes for the poll tax. Okay, so 4 types of taxes been mentioned in your book by Leo Tolstoy, author. Tobacco you know very well, and then wine. Now spirits, it's a type of kind of a drug. Spirits, kind of a drug it is. Where in Western country or Germany, generally in developing countries, this being consumed by the youth nowadays in the form of a drug like injections. And poll tax is nothing but to cross the boundaries, to exchange the transportation, like Maharashtra to Karnataka, Karnataka to Maharashtra, or any other state. We find trucks coming from here and there. So in the form of poll tax. So king was having these many with him. Alright. So let's have a recap. In your lesson, 2 dear meaning is costlier, expensive. Something is expensive. So this lesson, Leo Tolstoy has scripted in the border of France and Italy. There is one Monaco kingdom. And this kingdom has 7,000 population, and the king had these many things to support him. Okay, but what happened? Further lesson, what happened? It is not written here. Since in the kingdom, few people drank and smoked, so revenue earned from the taxes for the king, it was insufficient to run the palace. There were taxes, tobacco, wine, spirit, poll tax, there were taxes. The revenue earned from these taxes was not sufficient. So that's why the king had to find one more source of revenue. And that one more source of revenue he got from gaming house. Now, what is this gaming house? Gaming house, nothing but a gambling zone. Like casino, you say. Most of the Western countries have casinos. So he thought of bringing casinos so that different types of people will come from the different parts of the country, and they will come here. Whatever the money earned by the king, they can get in the form of percentage. Okay, so very few people smoked and drank in the palace. He started gambling. And here in your lesson, he is mentioning a word. That word is roulette. That word is roulette. So this is a type of game. We can come and try your luck. If you win it, you get something. If you lose your money. So that type of game is roulette. If we go to fair, jatras, where we find people involved into different games, like a ring, and then throwing over some product like some balls or some sword or some equipment, and if that ring accommodates it, you can get that. So in this way, roulette is also taken for game, or people play cards. It's like trying a luck. If you win it, you win. If you lose everything, whatever you have won. So he started roulette. And this game, roulette, was already popular in Germany, but the German government, the German sovereign has forbidden this game. The German sovereign has forbidden this game because this game was harming people. A man would If he loses money, he would take others' money, and then that others' money also he will use there. If he loses, he commits suicide by shooting himself. So that's why the German sovereign forbade this. It means they have stopped it. And here in Monaco, the king was the only one who was the monopoly, who was the only person who had nobody had the right to ask him. So because of that, he became confident and started earning money from roulette. The person who comes to play the roulette, whether he loses or wins, he has to pay his percentage to the king. In that way, this Monaco kingdom peacefully continued. But one day, what happened? A murder was committed in a peaceful kingdom because so many people were coming from the different parts of the Europe. So unfortunately, there was a murder. Now, king called the ministers. There were judges, lawyers, prosecutors. There were so many people. So he called everyone and asked them to solve the case. So judges, lawyers, ministers, they argued each other and come to the conclusion that the criminals had to be cut off. So that looking at him, nobody should commit such big crime in that Monaco kingdom. So the verdict was given, the decision was given to the criminal that his head to be beheaded. His head to be cut off. But my dear students, unfortunately, in the kingdom, the king was not having the machine. The king was not having the guillotine. Here, I would like to use the word guillotine. And this is an instrument used to cut off the criminal head. This is a machine. This is a machine. Guillotine. Guillotine is a machine. The king was not having it. So, the verdict was given, the decision was given. Now the king cannot do anything. Then he thought of asking to France government, because near the Puc kingdom we have two things, France and Italy. So he thought of asking France government. France government France government told them that they need 16,000 francs. They need 16,000 francs. They need 16,000 francs. It means in terms of francs they need money. Because francs is that they are French currency. King felt this is quite expensive. Because he had few people and with few taxes he was running the kingdom, and when he started the budget he got in terms of percentage the amount, so he cannot afford 16,000 francs. He got angry. He felt 16,000 francs as if they were asking, we need to cut off the head of every citizen. And unfortunately, if he has to give that money, 16,000 francs, he has to levy 2% extra charges on his citizens. So he thought of this idea is not good. Let's ask Italian government. Let's ask Italian government. Italian government agreed for 12,000 francs. Italian government agreed for 12,000 francs, including traveling expenses. So this somewhat okay comparatively France government, but still the king thought this is also not possible. Then they thought of executing the act with the help of some army or some general. So one day a general was called and asked that one of the soldiers may do this act, so please go and ask them. So general went to the army and asked, the soldier told that no, we were trained how to fight in the war. We were not trained how to behead the person. We know how to kill the person in a war. We had not been trained for this. So simple word is soldier refused, saying that he cannot do that act. So three ways the king tried here. One way, asking France government. Second one, Italian government. And third one, with the help of a fashionable way to complete the task from their soldier. But soldier also refused. Now, king had no option. So, what did he do? Again, he summoned ministers discussed. Then what could be done? Then they thought of altering his death sentence. They have converted his death sentence to lifelong imprisonment. Lifelong imprisonment, keeping him in a jail. There was a small setup, there was a small lockup. Temporarily, for some time, people were kept there. Now, that temporary lockup had been done well according to the criminal and appointed one guard. Then that criminal was kept in the jail. And some duty, some work, some duties were assigned to the guard. What was his duty? His duty is to get up every day, go to the palace, whatever was cooked, have food there, and then get some food to the criminal. And this one he continued for complete 1 year. For 1 year, the criminal and the guard both were happy and he stayed there. But after 1 year, when the criminal looked for his expenditure, the expenses what he has been doing for the criminal and the guard, he come to know the expenses were 600 francs. The expenses were 600 francs. Then the criminal was quite healthy and young, energetic. If he keeps feeding him, he may live for another 50 years. Means for every year he has to he has to expense 600 francs on him. So he thought to do something, and then he called again his ministers. He asked them to do something. The ministers thought, sir, we will do one thing. We will remove the guard. Once if you remove the guard, then the criminal will run away. So when the criminal will run away, at that time we will bring him and hang him. So this idea king thought good and waited. The criminal would run away, but there was no sign of running away. There was no sign of running away. He would come outside, see the guard is there or not. Without finding the guard in his absence, he used to go to the palace, fetched food, whatever was given to him. He came back and shut the door himself and stayed. This was continued. Now, the minister is fed up because in the absence of guard, the criminal is not running away. So nicely he is enjoying his food. And then what to do? After thinking, one day the criminal was called in front of the king and asked why you are not running away. When there is no guard to look after you, why don't you run away? And the guard said, where should I go? What should I do? If I go outside, people will turn their backs on me. Your punishment has ruined me. You have made me lazy. If I go outside, nobody would like to speak with me. I have lost my impression. When you had to cut off my head, you didn't do your work. So you yourself, discussing with your ministers, altered my death sentence to the lifelong imprisonment. So it's not my fault. Then the king thought over it and he discussed again with his ministers. After the discussion, they come to the final decision that some pension to be given to him, and this was informed to the criminal. So afterwards, the king told him that what is a guarantee that if I go from here, you will pay me the pension every year or every month. Then 1/3 of his annuity paid him in advance, and he went away by train 15 or 15 minutes away from the palace, where he purchased land, started gardening, marketing, and now he is living his life there happily and peacefully. Sometimes he comes to the palace, whether he loses or wins, because he gets money from the king in the form of pension. In this way, the summary of the story 2 deer is that 2 deer, it is very expensive. The criminal was expensive. It means under developing countries, whoever commits mistake, they have money from all the angles. They use it and they try to suppress this case, and they again enjoy all the rights and all the power. And since rich people got influence of political parties, so they are the 2 deer. They are the close for each other. Even in underdeveloping countries, a person who commits a crime, instead of getting a punishment, he gets a reward. Alright? So in this way, the criminal became close to the king, and then that was costlier, that was expensive, deal with the criminal. In this way, my dear students, we have completed the story called 2 Deer, written by Leo Tolstoy. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.